Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here, a blessing to be here. Thank you all for being here. This is part two of the swearing-in ceremonies that the government of the District of Columbia is having today. The council members were sworn in and the mayor was sworn in this morning. This afternoon, as I assume all of you know, we will have the oaths of office for the newly elected members of the school board and the newly elected or re-elected members of the shadow delegation, and then the newly elected or re-elected members of advisory neighborhood commissions in that order. Again, I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm going to recognize Reverend Ginger Gaines Sorelli to give the invocation.
Let us pray. God of love and grace and justice, be present among us now as we gather to acknowledge the great privilege and responsibility held by our elected public servants. We give thanks for each one who's put themselves forward to care for the people of the District of Columbia in all the ways they are called to serve. Surround them with your love, O God, and send them the people they need to guide and support them in the work that's ahead. Give them grace that through good governance and wise judgment and creative leadership, they may fulfill the highest purpose set before them, to serve the common good, to care for the poor and the children and all who are the most vulnerable, to be peacemakers, to value the dignity of every person who makes their dwelling here, regardless of status or color, orientation or creed, and to care for the earth that sustains our life. In an age of division and doubt, of violence and destruction, greed and cynicism, we pray this day, O God, for healing of our racial, economic, and political divides. And we pray for justice. And we pray for vision and moral leadership that will agitate and inspire the creation of truly beloved community. In your grace and mercy, may these your servants who are sworn in today do justice and love kindness and walk humbly with you and one another. Bless and protect them today and every day. O God, with thanksgiving for all the ways you have made yourself known and honoring all the names by which you are called, I offer this prayer in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Gaines Sorelli. We'll begin with the oaths of office for the members of the Board of Education. And we will be doing this in ward order. So the first to be sworn in is Emily Gassoy, the Ward 1 representative. The oath will be administered by Councilmember Brianne Nadeau.
There it is. Perfect. Thank you, Chairman. I, Emily Gassoy.
I, Emily Gassoy.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The laws of the United States of America.
The laws of the United States of America.
And of the District of Columbia.
And of the District of Columbia.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve and protect and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
And will faithfully discharge.
And will faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office.
The duties of the office.
Of member of the State Board of Education.
Of member of the State Board of Education.
On which I am about to enter.
On which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's going to be great.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's a real honor and a privilege to be here. And I want to start just by thanking my council member, Brianne Nadeau, for your support and your guidance and for your leadership, both in the community and on the council. I want to thank, I have to make sure I can read this. Hold on, sorry. I want to thank all the newly and re-elected members of our DC government. It's really humbling to be here among you today. And I want to thank my incredible campaign team. Some of you are here today. And two of my most dedicated campaign team members, my husband Winston Yu and my daughter Frankie. And finally, of course, I want to thank my Ward 1 voters, because I wouldn't be here without you. From Parkview to Adams Morgan, from Columbia Heights to Shaw, and all the precincts in between. I heard you. I heard your pride and investment in your neighborhood schools, your gratitude for modernized facilities and dual language offerings, your appreciation for your school principals, and your faith in your children's teachers. I heard you. I also heard your concerns, and your concerns became my campaign platform. And your endorsement at the polls is a really clear message about what you expect in terms of the issues that will be prioritized going forward. I heard the teacher who's leaving at the end of the year, and who explained to me that he spends approximately 20% of his time on busy work that is proving that he's doing what he's supposed to do. And that's time that's taken away, right, from improving his practice or from building relationships with his colleagues and with his students. And we know from the State Board of Education Commission's report that DC has the highest teacher turnover rate in the country. And that is an equity issue, because it's the students who are most vulnerable who are inordinately impacted by that. So I heard you. We need to do better at creating a system-wide culture that supports and retains our teachers. I also heard young parents who are worried about whether or not their children will have dependable pathways from pre-K through 12th grade in their ward. Without strong neighborhood options, too many families say the lottery feels more like chance than choice. We need more community input, more transparency, and better cross-sector planning to ensure that all families have strong pre-K through 12 options, close to home if they choose. And I heard the parents, educators, and students who let me know in so many ways that their children are more than their test scores, that learning is so much more than passing a test, that educational equity is not about closing a test score gap, it's about closing the opportunity gap. And we do that by providing all students with well-rounded programming that includes science, social studies, arts, SEL, real-world learning, a rich variety of electives, after-school options, and more. These conversations I had with hundreds of Ward 1 constituents only affirmed for me how important it is to draw on the knowledge and experience of those closest to the classroom, educators, families, and students, to inform our decision-making. Ultimately, it is these key stakeholders who are most knowledgeable about their schools and who are most impacted by our policy decisions. In order to bring our constituents to the table to impact decision-making in meaningful ways, I'm excited to join my colleagues on the State Board of Education to continue the work that they have started to strengthen our State Board as the body elected to represent these key stakeholders. I look forward to working with you, to continuing to expand the board's responsibilities, and to strengthen our school system for our children across the district. Thank you so much.
So I totally screwed up. Because the way this works is that when the member is getting sworn in, Councilmember Allen, don't look at me like that. The family or friends, whoever you wanted to come up, are supposed to come up. They didn't want to come up?
No.
Oh, well, okay, never mind.
Hi, guys. You want them to come up? All right. Frankie, Winston, come on up. Oh, really? We're going to do this again?
Just take a picture if someone
Oh,
wants to
okay.
take a picture.
But you got to have my book. Sorry.
Yes.
Especially for the picture.
Okay. Is
right.
anyone taking a photo?
All right, this is just a photo op, y'all. We're not going to do the whole thing.
Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you. I have it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm learning. I'm new to this. I do want to, before asking Ruth Wattenberg to come up, she's next, I do want to acknowledge the other members of the Board of Education who are here who are not being sworn in today. And actually, Jack Jacobson is not here, but he's the member from Ward 2. Dr. Fraser O'Leary from Ward 4. Maybe you should stand. Karen Williams from Ward 7. Marcus Batchelor from Ward 8. And Ashley McClay, who is at large. Aren't you being sworn in? Don't mess me up. He's being sworn in. They're messing with me. The next person to take the oath of office is Ruth Wattenberg, who was reelected from Ward 3, and the oath will be administered by Councilmember Mary Che. No, you tell them. And if the family wants to come up?
You want to be a little bit closer to the mic. It's not too close to me. Are you ready to take the oath?
I am.
I
Ruth Wattenberg,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the laws of the United States
the laws of the United States
of America and the District of Columbia,
and the District of Columbia,
and will,
to
to the best of my ability,
the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
and will faithfully discharge
the
duties of the office
of
member of the State Board of Education
member of the State Board of Education,
on which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. Now you guys go.
Hi, everybody. Is that good? Thank you, Council Member, Chairman, Council Members, Attorney General, and ANC Commissioners, and my colleagues, old and new. And especially, I'm going to thank Mary later, but I also want to say thank you for giving me that oath in such bite-sized pieces so that I could get it all right. When I was first sworn in 4 years ago, I optimistically said that our schools had built an awesome foundation for progress. I am less in awe today, which I will explain, but first, let me thank some very awesome people. First, to Mary Che, my councilwoman, an education advocate long before I was on the state board. This year, after revelations about inflated graduation rates, she introduced a bill to ensure that DC, like most other cities, would have access to independent research on how our schools are working. Thanks to Chairman Mendelson, to the Education Committee, and the mayor and her team who ultimately supported the idea, that proposal is now law, giving us a key tool, if used well, to understand what is working in our schools and to understand what we can and must change. Also, a huge thank you to the voters of Ward 3, the parents, principals, school staff, and ANC commissioners, and my campaign supporters for your support in general, but also for the candid conversations that you took time to have with me during the campaign and in the 4 previous years. Conversations that go on between state board members and residents across the city every day. I have learned so much from you about the effects of high-stakes reading and math testing, the pressure that principals and teachers work under, unresponsiveness sometimes from the system, the need for more space, and much more. A huge thank you to my family, my stepmom, my daughter and husband who are here, my son Michael, who may get off of work and may arrive, we will see. My kids, first of all, they endured me running for office. They also marched with me in the Palisades Parade, and my daughter ran my Instagram account. Thank you very much, Lila. And a very special thanks to my husband, David. If you've seen On the Basis of Sex, and if you haven't, you should, the biopic of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her husband, Marty, you have a sense of how my husband, David, helped, with advice, with hands-on help, as a sounding board, a cheerleader. Marty Ginsburg did moot court, David did debate prep. And thankfully, like Marty, David cooks a very good dinner, so that was great. Thank you. I started by saying that in contrast to 4 years ago, I'm chastened about our school's success, and I think the city is chastened, and I think many of the council members who spoke this morning and talked a lot about education are as well. It's not just the headlines about inflated graduation rates, high teacher turnover, and the lack of information. One of the year's most read education stories, and I follow the education literature, was A Weighty Lament. Despite the fact that there is a very broad scientific consensus on how to teach reading so that virtually every 3rd grader can read, that instruction is absent in so many schools, not just in DC, but other places as well. But in DC, nearly half of our students end 3rd grade with the lowest possible reading scores. It's 62% among at-risk students. Why is this if we know what to do? Do our reading programs not reflect the science? Is more needed to address the trauma that impedes student learning? What should we be doing differently? This should not stand. I really look forward to this term. We have a new Deputy Mayor of Education. We're going to have a new Chancellor. We have 4 new members of the State Board, everyone with strong teaching experience. And thanks to all of you, a new commitment to research that can lead to greater success. I am chastened, but I am an optimist. I look forward to working with everyone here to provide a strong education to all of our kids in every community in this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and again, congratulations. Zachary Parker, the newly elected member of the State Board from Ward 5, and the oath will be administered by Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie. And the family will come up.
There you go. You want to use this Bible? You know you want to hold it? Hold on, that's fine. You got family coming? Why not? Stand on this side here. Zach, are you ready to take the oath?
Yes.
All right, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, Zachary Parker,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the laws
that I will faithfully execute the laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and of the District of Columbia,
and of the District of Columbia,
and I will,
and I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my abilities,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Member of State Board of Education,
the office of Member of State Board of Education,
on which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. You're gonna do a selfie, sorry you are. Zachary, you gotta do it. You gotta do it, Zach.
That was awesome. Thank you, Councilmember McDuffie, Mr. Chairman, all elected officials, family, friends, and guests. When I was preparing remarks for this ceremony, thought of a text that reads, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." Perhaps you recognize these words from the opening paragraph from A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, which perfectly captures the paradox of much of our present times. It is the best of times if you live in certain sections of our city, often more affluent and wider, where your kid is guaranteed a seat in one of our better schools, if you luck up and get the top choice in a lottery, if you can afford to send your kid to the school of your choice that will provide them the necessary supports that they need. It is the worst of times if you live in other sections of the city, often less affluent and blacker, where you were just told that your neighborhood school is only worth 1 out of 5 stars, if you never luck up in the school lottery, and you find yourself at the mercy of others as you fight desperately to provide your child with the supports that they need. A Tale of Two Cities. 10 months ago, I started on what some deemed an improbable journey as I decided to run for the State Board of Education because I wanted to give students a voice at the policy table and give voice to a tale of our city that is often minimized, ridiculed, and ignored. My team asked residents to invest in 5, to engage in the process of improving our schools because we believe every action that we take together is a direct investment in each of our children's future. And together we did the work. Rain or shine, we knocked on doors. We sat in your living rooms. We attended community meetings. We showed up, we listened because we were driven by an urgency, inspired by what we know is possible for each of our school communities. And while there's much to celebrate, including recent elections, proving that residents are paying attention and are invested as they overwhelmingly voted for me and other teachers to join our State Board of Education, there's a lot of work for us to do. Not limited to, but including unprecedented teacher and principal turnover in our schools. Too many stories of our students not making it home safely to their parents and families, and too few of our schools doing right by all of our students. It is my hope that our best days are ahead of us. It is my hope that Councilmember McDuffie and I, along with others, can build on the rich foundation that lay ahead of us and help chart a new path for Ward 5 schools over the next 4 years. That the State Board of Education will help shape informed policy that meets our students, teachers, and parents at their places of need versus decisions being made in silos or in an attempt to satisfy well-off special interests. It is my hope that our city stops pitting our charters against our neighborhood schools, that they treat them fairly, ensure that they are governed by one rule of law, and that each of them do right by our children. That we each examine the role of race, prejudice, bias, white supremacy in every decision we make for our schools, and we must acknowledge that we are grappling with a school system that is built on a racist infrastructure that was never intended for our blackest and poorest children to excel. In order for us to truly change the game, we will have to revamp how we do education in the city, serving as a model for our country. It is my hope that we genuinely celebrate what's happening well in our schools and seek to improve them long before neighborhoods gentrify, or even realize that improving schools is in fact possible, and that the path forward is not always opening a new one after new one after new one. It is my hope that no mom or dad or grandparent ever has to receive the call or the knock at the door that their child will not make it home, either because they've gotten caught up in the school-to-prison pipeline or worse. It is my hope that over these next 4 years, I will make you proud and that together we build bridges instead of burn them and make good on 2 central themes of my campaign. 1 is that we come together to improve our schools, and 2, we advance equity regarding all matters involving our students. So I ask you, will the road ahead be the best of times or the worst of times? And the answer, the choice is ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker, and again, congratulations. The next oath of office will be for Jessica Sutter, who is representing, or will be representing Ward 6, and the oath will be administered by Councilmember Charles Allen. And the family will come forward.
Make sure I get the right one. You can raise your right hand on the book. But let's move a little closer to the mic so that
Oops.
Wait, right hand.
Right hand.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got it. All right. Jessica, congratulations. I am really looking forward to serving in Ward 6 with you.
Thank you.
And are you ready to take the oath of office?
I am.
Okay. I, please state your name,
I, Jessica Sutter,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the laws
that I will faithfully execute the laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and of the District of Columbia,
and of the District of Columbia,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of member of the State Board of Education
of member of the State Board of Education,
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Learn not to knock the microphone. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Allen. Thank you to my family for being here today. Thank you to my friends who've come out to support me, to my campaign team who is here. Thank you so much for all the work that you did to help me get to this day. And thank you to the members of Ward 6 community who voted for me. It's a popular thing to do this week to set goals, to make resolutions, to plan for the future. I'm a word of the year kind of gal, personally. I like to pick a word that I can use as a focus for the year ahead, a touch point that I can come back to as I go through the 12 months that lie ahead of me. 2018, my word was challenge. I took on a few, some might say too many, personal challenges last year. I set out to finish a PhD, a project I started 9 years earlier. I set out to complete an Ironman distance triathlon. I set out to run for office. It was a good year. They all happened, and I landed here today. Thanks. My 2019 word is more appropriate to the office I'm about to take. The word is constant. As a member of the State Board of Education here in the district, I think it's important that we be consistent and constant presences in our educational landscape. When I was a teacher at KIPP, first in Los Angeles, then here in DC, one of our KIPP catchphrases was, "Be the constant, not the variable." The point was that in the lives of our students, we were to be present and constant for our children every day. We were to show up, we were to be reliable, we were to be counted on as a force of support for our students. We are to put them first in policy decisions as members of the State Board of Education. The interests of children must always come first, and they must be the constant in our thoughts. For our schools, we need to hold our schools constant in our plans. We need to have high expectations that they will serve every child who walks through their door well. We have to advocate constantly for their success, for their students, and for their communities. For our families, we need to be constant presences, available to families, willing to connect them to the resources that they and their students need, willing to raise their collective concerns to the state level to make sure that action is taken on their behalf. As an athlete, a runner, I've learned a lot about constancy and consistency. The virtue of consistent practice, of showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when the decisions are difficult, even when the weather isn't great, you show up. You are the constant. I believe that the same is true of the work that we must do as the State Board of Education, and I look forward to doing it with my new colleagues. I'm especially proud to join a board that has so many experienced educators. As part of my campaign, I talked with people about the fact that it was possible that we would have only one member of a 9-member board who had any teaching experience. Instead, that didn't happen. 5 of the 9 members of our State Board of Education have classroom teaching experience. 5 of us have worked in schools here in the district. We know the students and families we represent. We are proud to represent them, and I look forward to joining that board and working on behalf of all of you, all of the students and families of Ward 6, all of the students and families of our district. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sutter, and congratulations. I want to acknowledge the 2 student representatives on the State Board of Education, Marjorie Alicia and Tatiana Robinson, if you'd stand. And stay standing. I'd like all the members of the State Board to stand so that we can acknowledge this is our State Board of Education. And any of you who were present this morning at the council and mayor swearing in, quite a number of your elected representatives spoke about the importance of education and public education in our city. We will now turn to the oath of office for the shadow senator, shadow United States Senator, and the United States Representative for the District of Columbia. The first is Honorable Michael D. Brown, recently re-elected. And the oath will be administered by the Honorable Jose Lopez. And do you have family who will be joining you?
Yes, my wife, my lovely wife.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Michael D. Brown,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the laws of the United States of America
the laws of the United States of America
and of the District of Columbia,
and of the District of Columbia,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the United States Shadow Senator.
and will faithfully
Discharge the duties.
Thank you. The office of the duties
United
of the
States
office of the United States
Shadow
Senator
Senator.
for the District of Columbia,
Which I'm about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Right. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Come on, folks. I get to do this once every 6 years. Good afternoon. Okay. Thank you. That's more like it. First, let me thank Judge Lopez. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate you taking time from your busy schedule to be with us here today and to swear me in. I would also like to thank my wife, Pat, who held the Bible for me. I do this job full-time, like you, with no compensation, and the reason I can do it is because my wife works 2 jobs. Yeah, that's absolutely true. She's a librarian, the head librarian at a big public high school, and she's an adjunct professor at Catholic University. So thank you, Pat, for allowing me to serve full-time in our fight for statehood for the people of the District of Columbia. You know, those of us that put ourselves out there, get elected to public office, and then volunteer our service, do it, in my opinion, for the noblest of reasons. We don't do it for the money or the power or the glory. We do it because we understand that it is better to be part of the solution than part of the problem. And because we want to make our neighborhoods and our community a better place for all of us. It is therefore a great honor for me to be sworn in today with so many of you who ask not what can be done for you, but rather what you can do to serve those around you. It is this commitment to service that inspires me today, and I'm here to make you an offer you can't refuse. In the immortal words of my mentor, Don Corleone, I'm here to make you an offer you can't refuse. A chance to improve our community in the most profound way. Let me put my glasses on, I'm so old. An opportunity to finally make the people of the District of Columbia equal citizens of our great nation by making the District of Columbia the 51st state. Dr. King said it best: commit yourself to the noble struggle for civil rights. You will make a greater person of yourself, a greater nation of your country, and a finer world to live in. Dr. King said this because he knew civil rights movements were led by people who care about their communities, people like you, not governments or institutions, but people who cared and rose up to claim their rights, people just like ANC commissioners. We are the only democracy in the world that denies the residents of its capital city the same rights extended to all other citizens. And we must end this political anachronism and not pass this injustice on to our children and our grandchildren. Imagine what two senators from the District of Columbia would mean to America on decisions like shutting down the government, building a wall, scaling back environmental protection, curbing gun violence, and confirming nominations to the Supreme Court. In the midst of our current national upheaval, our voices are silenced. And although many of us work in government and politics, in the end, we have no say in the direction our country will take during this critical time. Imagine telling the people of Detroit they couldn't drive, or the people of Los Angeles they couldn't go to the movies. But they tell us we can't be involved in the national conversation. This is crazy, and it's incumbent upon us to end it. So I come to you, the many who have volunteered to work towards a better tomorrow for our city, to enlist you in the battle to finally fulfill the promise of democracy for the 700,000 loyal residents of the District of Columbia, making them equal citizens through statehood. And I tell you this can be done because ours is a partisan battle. In the 115th Congress, 211 co-sponsors in both houses of Congress signed on to our bills for statehood. Signed on to our bills for statehood. The Democrats have just taken over the House of Representatives, thank God. And our delegate, Eleanor Holmes Norton, will introduce a new statehood bill this Friday with more original introducers than ever before. Companion legislation will be submitted in the Senate shortly thereafter. In 2020, we'll have a real chance for Democrats to take back the Senate with 3 times as many Republicans up for re-election as were up for re-election in 2018. If this happens, I promise you, with your help, we can get a statehood bill passed through both houses. And then all that remains is a signature from the president. And I don't know about you, but as a superdelegate, I have committed myself to find a new resident for 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue by then. With the possibility of government back in the hands of Democrats in the next few years, our prospects for statehood look bright. But we must not forget the lessons of 2009, when Democrats controlled both houses of Congress and the White House, and we were still unable to get a single vote in the House of Representatives. Statehood may be close, but we cannot take it for granted. We need your help because, as Dr. King pointed out, it is people like you that commit themselves, people who have always led the civil rights movements in America, people who want to make a better city for all of us. For the past 2 years, my office has sent several times a month to every ANC in all 8 wards emails. I need you to open those emails when they come, share them with your constituents, encourage people to get involved, invite members of our delegation to speak at your monthly meetings, and come support our rallies and lobbying efforts on Capitol Hill. We need Washingtonians to finally stand up together and demand the rights that Thomas Jefferson said were given us by God and are extended to all other Americans in the 50 states. And we need you, our most politically committed community activists, to inspire and lead them all. I leave you today with a favorite quote of mine from the Old Testament, Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. This is finally our time, and we must not squander it. We have a rendezvous with destiny, and we must accept it and end this injustice which has stood for far too long. In closing, let me say one volunteer to another. Thank you for your commitment to serve our community. God bless each and every one of you who have taken on this responsibility today. It's people like you that help make our city such a great place to live, and I know that engaging that spirit of community that you so exemplify, that together we can lead the way forward to finally making Washington, D.C. the 51st state and ending our disenfranchisement forever. Thank you to all who have put their faith in me to serve another 6 years. I am humbled by your support and honored to be here today with so many other volunteers who selflessly give themselves to make our community a better place for all. What do we want, people? Statehood. And when do we want it? When do we want it? Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Brown, and again, congratulations. The Honorable Franklin Garcia is our United States representative. He won re-election, and his oath will be administered by the Honorable Jose Lopez.
Are you ready to take the oath?
I am.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Franklin Garcia,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the laws of the United States of America
the laws of the United States of America
and of the District of Columbia,
and of the District of Columbia,
and will,
and will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of the United States Shadow
of the
Representative,
United States Shadow Representative,
which I'm about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. All right, when I say DC, you say statehood. DC. DC. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. And Happy New Year to all. Yesterday, we also concluded the last day of the Kwanzaa celebration, so happy Kwanzaa as well. Let me start by thanking God for having us here today. I want to thank my parents, family members, friends, and all of you for being here. I want to thank Judge Jose Lopez for administering the oath. I'm very grateful to you, Judge. Thank you so much for doing that. Let me also thank the new Columbia Statehood Commission members, Senator Paul Strauss, Senator Michael Brown, Chairman Theo Mendelson, and a special thanks to and recognition to our mayor, who I think is not here yet. I think she was going to be here. Okay, well, I also want to congratulate her on being a new mom. So I'm sure that she'll see it. She's the message on television. To the voters of the District of Columbia, thank you for giving me the honor and privilege to once again be part of the movement to help us become the 51st state as your shadow member of Congress. While we didn't get statehood for D.C. in the 115th Congress that just concluded, we continued to make significant progress. The over 210 co-sponsors we received in both houses is what makes it possible for Congresswoman Norton to announce that she will be introducing our D.C. statehood bill in the new 116th Congress with over 150 original co-sponsors in the House of Representatives this coming Friday. That deserves a round of applause. It's a great way to start the new year. In this past Congress, the list of co-sponsors grew in large part because of the work you all did, the individuals and organizations throughout our city and beyond who continue to do great work. The visits to Congress, the meetings at community libraries or private living rooms, the flyers, the pins, and the flags we handed out everywhere. All those things are making it possible for us to reach this point. The DC Statehood Coalition is stronger today because of all of you. Over 222 years as second-class citizens is a very long time, but the people of the District of Columbia are resilient and believe that, like the song says, a change is going to come. Remember that we all are in this together. When people ask you why DC should be granted statehood, tell them because you deserve equal treatment. That the colonial-style situation that exists in DC is an old model, like in the past, that doesn't work for everyone. When they tell you that DC should be returned to Maryland, let them know that DC is unique with a proud history, and that both DC and Maryland agree on a common solution: statehood for DC. Tell them that making DC a state is as simple as keeping our national capital a reduced part of our city and making the larger part of our city the 51st state, and that we don't need to amend the Constitution if we have reduced the size before, and we can certainly do it again to give equality to over 700,000 people that for over 200 years have been denied equality in our democracy. And remind them that DC statehood is not a partisan issue. It is an American issue. To our immigrant and Latino residents, let me take a minute to assure you that here in the District of Columbia, we are committed to you as we have ever been. As our mayor has stated many times, we are a welcoming city and an inclusive city. I know these are challenging times, and it is for this reason that it is more important than ever to stay organized, united, and informed. I hope you all have a wonderful time, and thank you so much for coming, and congratulations to everybody that's getting sworn in. Sí se puede. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Garcia, and again, congratulations. We have 3 members of our shadow delegation, 2 senators and a representative. You've seen Senator Brown, and you've seen Representative Garcia. There's also Senator Paul Strauss. Why don't all 3 of you stand? Our delegation for the next 2 years. We will turn now to the oath of office for advisory neighborhood commissions. And Vanna White is bringing me the cup to pick the order. I'm told there are 8 pieces in here. I don't believe it. There's a 12% chance it'll be Ward 8. Now, the way we do this is that the council member for the ward will administer the oath, and they may name each individual. They may just ask everybody to come up on their own. We'll see how each member does it. And again, we're doing it by order as I draw it out of the cup. The first ward, ANC commissioners for whom the oath, and I should mention, there's several of us who are on the council. No, I'm not trying to be funny, but there are several of us who were ANC commissioners, just so you know or are reminded. Brianna Doe was a council member from Ward 1. Jack Evans was a council member from Ward 2 for a number of years. I'm sorry, ANC, I'm misspeaking. We're ANC members. And I'm trying to remember, I was an ANC commissioner for 20 years before being elected. Am I forgetting any other council members? Anita Bonds, who's not here, was an ANC commissioner from Ward 5. I'm sorry, I can't hear y'all. The mayor, and Mayor Bowser was an ANC commissioner. Anybody I'm forgetting? So the first ward for whom the oath will be given is Ward 4, Brandon Todd.
And Ward 4 shall be first. Ward 4 commissioners, please join me at the front and line up in front of the stage. Just line up this way. Yeah, you can face the front. Yes.
I'm just going to say one thing to all of the ANC commissioners. There's a piece of paper, the oath you have to sign. It's in the back. I'll probably mention this a couple more times. It's important that you all sign that oath.
Yep. Just line on up as far as you can go. You face me. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And first, let me congratulate all of the ANC commissioners from across the district on your swearing in. But certainly, I want to congratulate all of our Ward 4 commissioners for those that are being reelected for the work that you've done over the last 2 years and the work that you will do over the next 2 years. And for all of our new commissioners, congratulations and welcome. Before I administer the oath, I would like to acknowledge each of you by name. I think that you putting yourselves out there is quite significant, and you should be recognized for that. And we will begin with ANC 4A, Phyllis Green, Stacy Lincoln, Stephen A. Watsley, Patience R. Singleton, Deborah Pope, Candace Tiana Nelson, Marlene Moss, Gail Black, ANC 4B, Evan Yeats, Aaron Palmer, Scott Knickerbocker, Brenda Parks, Perry Red, Jeff Bromingham, Allison Brooks, LaRoya A. Huff, ANC 4C, Charlotte Nugent, Maria Berry, Ulysses E. Campbell, Nora Simon, Debbie Matties, Bennett Hilly, Kim Varzi, Leah Anderson, Tersa Coates, and Jonah Goodman. ANC 4D, Peter Tabor, Renee L. Bowser, Aaron Polkey, Jamie Barden, Crystal Branton, and Jonathan Noble. ANC 34G, Abraham Clayman, Shonda Tuck Garfield, Randy Speck, and Rebecca Madak. Please raise your right hand. Are you all ready to take the oath? Yes. I state your name. Having been duly elected as a commissioner of the Advisory Neighborhood Commissions of the District of Columbia, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me as a member of said commissions, to the best of my ability, without fear or favor, that I will exercise my best judgment and consider each matter before me from the viewpoint of the best interest of Ward 4, the District of Columbia, as a whole, and that I will faithfully discharge said duties. Congratulations. Congrats.
Congratulations. No drum roll, but the next ward is Ward 2. The oath will be administered by Jack Evans.
I'm going to drag it out. Oh, is this the oath? Oh, good. Good. No, this isn't the oath, Phil. Jesus. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, we can do better than that. Good afternoon. And welcome to the Washington Convention Center and to the swearing in of the ANC commissioners. I'm very pleased to be here today and certainly want to start out by congratulating all the commissioners citywide in your election, and welcome to the body of former and current ANC commissioners. As the chairman mentioned, I started out as an ANC commissioner in DuPont Circle and served as the chair there before I joined the Council of the District of Columbia. And I want to say being an ANC commissioner was one of the most rewarding jobs I had. And so all of you, thank you for serving and all of your advice that you give to the council and the city as you go forward. And welcome to Ward 2. You're all in Ward 2 today, in the Convention Center located here in the ward. Ward 2 is the downtown ward. We have the White House, the Capitol, the whole business district surrounded by 6 very distinct neighborhoods. And so I'm very pleased to have represented this ward on the council for the last 28 years. And to the commissioners in Ward 2, welcome. Those of you who have been here before, congratulations. And those of you who are new, I'm very pleased to welcome you here to the ward. As I mentioned, we have 6 distinct neighborhoods, 6 distinct ANCs, and I'm going to read the names of the commissioners from each of the different neighborhoods. First, we have ANC 2A, the Foggy Bottom ANC, Patrick Kennedy, Nicole Golden, Trumpti Patel, William Smith, Philip Schaefer, Jerry Epstein, Derek Campbell, and James Harnett. So welcome from the Foggy Bottom ANC. And if I mispronounce some of these names, bear with me. Advisory Neighborhood Commission 2B, my old ANC, DuPont Circle. We have Matthew Sampson, Daniel Werwick, Lucky Barberi, Aaron Landry, Randy Downs, Michael Silverstein, Kerry Cunningham, ANC 2B07, that's my old ANC. Beverly Schwartz, and Ed Hanlon. So from ANC 2B, DuPont Circle, welcome. ANC 2C, the second smallest ANC in the city, representing the downtown and the Penn Quarter, one of the newest ANCs. We have Michael Schenkel, Jamal Burton, and Kevin Wilsey. So welcome downtown, Penn Quarter, ANC 2C. Advisory Neighborhood Commission 2D, the smallest ANC in the city, only 2 members. The Sheridan Kalorama ANC, home to former President Barack Obama. So he's our newest constituent there. Make sure he gets the trash picked up and everything, make sure everything's going well. Also Bezos, Jeff Bezos bought a house there, so he's in that ANC. Ivanka Trump, she's in that ANC. We got a lot of people in that ANC, don't we? It's quite a group up there. 2 commissioners, David Bender and Jeffrey Nessler. So congratulations, both of you, ANC 2D. ANC 2E, the Georgetown ANC. Kisham Puda, Joe Gibbons, Rick Murphy, Anna Landra, Lisa Palmer, Gwendolyn LaHoyce, Elizabeth Miller, and Martis Birdman. Okay, welcome Georgetown ANC. I don't think they're here today though, but welcome to the Georgetown ANC anyway. ANC 2F, the Logan Circle ANC, home to the Convention Center. So we're in your ANC right now. Jason Foreman, John, I always mispronounce your name, John, Gutton Moss, but that's close anyway. Yes, close enough. Tom Alexander, John Fanning, Ron Rubin, Ian Simon, Kevin Sylvester, and Janice Furby. So that's the Logan Circle ANC. That's your commission, ANC 2F, and these are all the commissioners from Ward 2. So all of you, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Having been duly elected as a commissioner of the Advisory Neighborhood Commissions of the District of Columbia, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me as a member of said commissions to the best of my ability, without fear or favor, that I will exercise my best judgment and will consider each matter before me from the viewpoint of the best interest of the District of Columbia as a whole, and that I will faithfully discharge said duties. Congratulations. Now, to whoever comes next, I'm going to leave this up here because there doesn't seem to be one here. So this is it. It's from Brandon Todd. Thank you, Councilmember.
I'm looking at, there are two oaths here, but be that as it may, congratulations to everybody from Ward 2. And again, remember, commissioners, you need to sign the paper from the oath, the written oath that's in the back. The next ward, you want me to put it back? The next ward is Ward 7, and the oath will be administered by Councilmember Vincent Gray.
All right, let's hear it for Ward 7. Being an advisory neighborhood commissioner is one of the purest forms of volunteerism that we have in the District of Columbia. And those are hard jobs for those of you who have been reelected. There's hard work involved in that, right? Some of those meetings last 3, 4, 5 hours. And so for those who are now being reelected, I want to thank you very much for your service heretofore. And I, too, am going to join the group that takes the opportunity to recognize individually every one of you. We're not going to be just swearing you in as a group. We're going to be recognizing you by name, ladies and gentlemen. And if I mispronounce somebody's name, I apologize up front, and I would invite you to correct me when the opportunity presents itself. First of all, from ANC 7B. All right. Thank you, Tiffany. Patricia Chittams, who I see right in front of me. She came in when I came in the door. Tiffany Brown, who we just heard from. Benjamin Crane, who is newly elected. Nicole Smith. There he is, over here to the right. Okay. Nicole Smith McDermott. If you want to applaud, y'all can applaud now. Valerio Johnson, April Pradier, and the current chair, D.L. Humphrey. From Commission 7C, Patricia Malloy, long-standing. Lawrence Davin, my man. Catherine Woods, who is a long-standing advisory neighborhood commissioner. Anthony Lorenzo Green. Dr. Mary Gaffney, excuse me, Dr. Mary Gaffney. Arnold Smith. And the current chair of 7C, Antoine Holmes. From 7D, newly elected, Tamara Blair. Siraj Hassan, person who served in more than one capacity as an elected official, Dorothy Douglas. Ms. Douglas, how are you? Newly elected, re-elected, however you want to put it, Mr. Singh Culver. Singh. Aretha Jackson. Sharice Muhammad. And newly elected, Artilly Wright. From 7E, Vita Rashid. Come on, guys, y'all can do better than that. Come on now. Linda Sue Green. Eben Allen. T.N. Tate, who actually works in my office, but we'll swear her in later. Victor Horton. Delia Husil. Yolanda Fields. And then from 7F, Terrell Holcomb. Terrence Hunter. Sheila Carson Carr. Charlene Exum. Brittany Hughes, who is newly elected. And Carol Fletcher. I'm going to ask you all to raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the laws of the United States of America and of the District of Columbia, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the District of Columbia Home Rule Act, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Advisory Neighborhood Commission on which I am about to enter. How about a big hand for you guys? You all are fantastic. And we'll be working hard to try to make sure that we connect you with our office and make sure you're working directly with us. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you all very much.
The Chair Pro Tem is telling me that I need to pick his ward next, but he's got a 20% chance. The odds have gone up. The next ward will be Ward 6, and the oath will be administered by Councilmember Charles Allen.
We knew that Ward 6 would not be last. Absolutely. I'll ask our Ward 6 commissioners to come on up. I'm also going to ask Jessica Sutter, our new Ward 6 State Board Member of Education, to come on up and join me. And I know that I'll get no disagreement in this room that Ward 6 has hands down the best ANC commissioners in the entire city, right? Thank you to all of our commissioners. Thank you to all of our commissioners for the incredible hard work that you do around the entire city. I'm obviously a little partial for Ward 6, but thank you everybody for the incredible work that you do in our neighborhoods and our communities. I too am going to call out the names of all of our Ward 6 commissioners. We're incredibly proud. Those of you who have been serving for a long time and have been reelected, for many members that are joining anew, grateful for your work. I think our commissioners it's almost a thankless job, but it's an incredibly hard job. We are in your debt for the amount of time and energy and passion that you bring to the job for our neighborhoods and for our communities. So thank you, thank you, thank you. For ANC 6A, I want to call each one out. Marie Claire Brown, Phil Tomasian, Mike Soderman, Amber Gove, Ruth Ann Hudson, Stephanie Zimney, Sandra Phillips Gilbert, and Brian Alcorn. For ANC 6B, Jennifer Samelik, Jared Schroof, Brian Reddy, Kirsten Oldenburg, Steve Holtzman, Carrie Holman, Kelly Wad, Chandra J. Rahman, Casey Clark, and Catherine Denise Rupp-Krepp. For ANC 6C, we can hoot and holler, Christine Healy, Karen Wirt, Jay Adelstein, Mark Eckenweiler, Joel Kelty, and Rob Dooling. For Commission 6D, Gail Fast, Anna Forgy, Ron Collins, Andy Litsky, Anthony Dale, Rhonda Natalie Hamilton, and Edward Daniels. And for ANC 6E, Alexander M. Padro, Michael J. Brown, Frank Wiggins, Alex Marriott, Alvin Judd Sr., and Kevin M. Rogers. Thank you all very much. Let's give them a big round of applause. All right, if you are ready, if you'll raise your right hand, please. I, and state your name, having been duly elected as a commissioner of the Advisory Neighborhood Commissions of the District of Columbia, do solemnly swear or affirm that I, state your name, will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me as a member of said commissions to the best of my ability, without fear or favor, that I will exercise my best judgment and will consider each matter before me from the viewpoint of the best interest of the District of Columbia as a whole, and that I will faithfully discharge said duties. Congratulations and thank you.
Congratulations to everybody from Ward 6, the commissioners from Ward 6. The next ward will be Ward 5, administered by Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie. I told you your turn would come.
We all know Ward 5. No, y'all come up this way. Y'all come on the steps. We don't do it that way. Y'all know how we do it in Ward 5. We do things together in Ward 5. The only way to work is to do it together. The best ward in the entire District of Columbia. Zachary Parker, our new school board members here. Franklin is here. Anita and David aren't here. All right. Let's start with 5A. We're going to mention every single person's name because every single person is going to give all that they have to represent their single-member districts and to move Ward 5 forward. 5A, Frank Wiles, Grace Lewis, Emily Singer-Lucio, Isaiah Burrows, Ronnie Edwards, Jamal Lampkin, Sandra Washington, Gordon Andrew Fletcher. ANC 5B, Gail Hall Carley, Ursula Higgins, Henry Mikambe, Ra Amin, Landon Jones. ANC 5C, Gail Brevard, Lauren Rogers, Robert Looper, Jacqueline Manning, Darlene Oliver, Kirsten Williams, Jeremiah Montague Jr. ANC 5D, Ryan Lenahan, Keisha Shropshire, Stephen Motley, Bernice Blacknell, Sadell Moore, Jason Burkett, and Clarence Lee. ANC 5E, my home ANC, Nick Chiolis, Patricia Williams, Courtney Segman, Sylvia Pinckney, Bradley Thomas, Carla Lewis, Bertha Holliday, Robert Vincent Branham, Diane Barnes, and Nancy Darlene Jones. That's right. All right. Need you all to raise your right hands. Repeat after me. I, and state your names, will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me as a member of said commission to the best of my ability, without fear or favor, that I will exercise my best judgment and will consider each matter before me from the viewpoint of the best interests of the District of Columbia as a whole, and that I will faithfully discharge said duties, so help me God. Congratulations. Let's get to work. Let's do it, Ward 5.
Congratulations again to the commissioners, newly elected commissioners or newly sworn in commissioners from Ward 5. And again, a reminder to fill out the written oath of office that I'm told is in the back of the room. That's essential. Now, I want you all to know I'm getting a lot of pressure from the Great 8. But Trayon, your odds have gone from 12% to 33%. So we'll see. The next ward will be Ward 1, administered by Councilmember Brianne Nadeau.
Thank you. I'll ask my Ward 1 commissioners to come to the front, in front of the stage as I read their names. Come on up. Wonderful. Lila Bonat, Teresa A. Edmondson, Zach Rabarchik, Matthew Goldschmidt, Christine Miller, Angelica Castagnon, Jennifer Bundy, Kent C. Bass, Michael Ray, Rashida Brown, Dottie Love Wade, Jason Klock, Anita Norman, Daniel Orlasky, Cedric Mohammed, John D. Squiccerini, James Cordes, Jen Bristol, Jessica Smith, Joshua R. Mader, James A. Turner, Daniel Delaney, Rob Hudson, Dan Winston, Amir Irani, Bridget Pooley, Ted Guthrie, Douglas Eli, Damiana Dendy, Michaela Wright, Japer Bowles, Amanda Fox Perry, John Stewart, Robin Sandenberg, Jack McKay, Yasmin Romero Latin, Chelsea A. Alinger. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much for running, for some of you again, and for some of you for the first time, for all of the time and effort you're putting into our communities. It is truly appreciated that you've put yourself forth and into public service, and I look forward to working alongside you all to improve our community. So now I will ask you each to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name. Have been duly elected as a commissioner of the Advisory Neighborhood Commissions of the District of Columbia. Do solemnly swear that I state your name, will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me as a member of said commission to the best of my ability, without fear or favor, that I will exercise my best judgment, and I will consider each matter before me from the viewpoint of the best interest of the District of Columbia as a whole, and that I will faithfully discharge said duties. Congratulations, commissioners.
Congratulations again to the new commissioners for Ward 1. The next ward will be Ward 3. The oath will be administered by Councilmember Mary Che. The grade 8 will be next. Councilmember Che.
Good afternoon, everybody. And could all the members of the ANCs recently elected or re-elected please come forward? Ruth Wattenberg is here with me. She's your Board of Education member. And we're all in this together. Now, before I call you up, and I know some people couldn't be here, so I'm going to be swearing them in on a later date, but I just want to tell you how grateful I am for your service and how much it means to the members of the council to have partners of the ANC in all the work that we do. We couldn't possibly handle it all if we didn't have your help and your perseverance and your dedication. So I just want to tell you thank you, and you know that we're going to triple your salary. Oh, wait. I've told that joke so many times, even I'm tired of hearing it, okay? All right. So now I'm going to read the names. First, starting with ANC 3B, Ann Lade Mladenoff, Jackie Blumenthal, Melissa Lane, Mary C. Young, Brian Termale, ANC 3C, Lee Brian Reba, Jason Fink, Jimmy DuBois, Bo Finley, Emma Hirsch, Angela Bradbury, Maureen Kinlan Boucher, Victoria Gersten, Nancy McWood. ANC 3D, Chuck Elkins, Troy Kravitz, Paige Ella, Michael Shrieky, Ann Karnofsky, Virginia Gorshevsky, Taylor Berlin, Christine Warnke, J.P. Simkowitz, and then there's vacant. Is Mr. Vacant here? Oh, okay. No, no one's taking that seat. ANC 3E, Greg Earhart, Amy Hall, Jonathan Bender, Tom Quinn, Jonathan McHugh. ANC 3F, David Dickinson, Carolyn Kubler, Naomi Rutenberg, Leah Freelingheisen, Andrea Malad, Monica Nemeth. Do you have a cheering section here, Monica? Patrick Jokopchek. And then Advisory Neighborhood Commission 3G. Now, Advisory Neighborhood Commission 3G is 3-4G, so it's like divided between Ward 4 and Ward 3. Our Ward 3 members, Jeffrey Mallitz, Dan Bradfield, and Christopher Frombaluti. Okay, are you ready to take the oath? Please raise your right hand. I'm going to say I, and you're going to say your name. Your name. Okay. I, having been duly elected as a commissioner of the Advisory Neighborhood Commissions of the District of Columbia, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, that I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me as a member of said commissions to the best of my ability, without fear or favor, that I will exercise my best judgment and will consider each matter before me from the viewpoint of the best interest of the District of Columbia as a whole, and that I will faithfully discharge said duties. Congratulations and thank you.
Before I figure out the next ward, which I believe has a 100% chance of getting pulled out of the cup, I do want to say this. As chairman of the council, typically I introduce my colleagues, all of the council members. However, since each ward member was administering the oath of office, they sort of got introduced one at a time. However, at-large council members, Robert White is here as an at-large council member, and I want to acknowledge him. And he's the chair of the newly created Facilities and Procurement Committee. Congratulations. Just so that we're all clear, I intentionally saved till last the best. In any event, Ward 8 is the next ward, and the oath will be administered by Councilmember Trayon White.
If my Ward 8 members can come on the stage, please. To your right, to your right, to your right. We're waiting for you to join us on the stage. Thank you. You gotta save the best for last.
That's right.
Queen. Is Ward 8 in the house?
Ward 8!
Just making sure. We would start off by naming every commissioner on the Advisory Neighborhood Commission, starting with 8A. Holly Muhammad, Barbara Clark, Brian K. Thompson, Troy Dante Presswood, Dorcas Ajaya, Tyon Jones, Hannah Baker, Advisory Neighborhood Commission 8B, Leonard Lee Watson Jr., Paul Trantham, Charles H. Wilson, Darrell Danny Gaston, Betty Scipio, Humam Abdul Malik, Keon Bassett, Advisory Neighborhood Commission 8C, Mike Alston, Shyla D. Evans, Robinette Woodland, Regina X. Pickley, Mustafa Abdul Salam, Rhonda Edwards Hines, Salim Adolfo, ANC 8D, Patricia Carmen, Olivia L. Henderson, Absalon Jordan, Monique T. Diop, Ellen Armstead, Laverne R. Glenn, Constance Mobley, ANC 8E, Adoye Awalewa, got that right? Cheryl Moore, Monica Watts, Kendall Simmons, Christopher L. Hawthorne, Colleen K. Armstead, and Stephen A. Slaughter. I want to leave you all with this quote by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you should be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. And this morning, the thing that I like about it is by giving the definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory on relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of the thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. Amen? Amen. Can you please raise your right hand? When I say I, you're going to say I, then your name. I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will perform such duties as may be assigned to me as a member of the said commission to the best of my ability, without fear or favor, that I will exercise my best judgment and will consider each matter before me from the viewpoint of the best interests of the District of Columbia as a whole, and that I will faithfully discharge said duties. So help me God. Congratulations, Ward 8 ANC Commissioners. Thank you. You're great.
Thank you, Councilmember White, and again, congratulations to all of the commissioners from Ward 8, newly elected or newly sworn in. And again, a reminder to fill out the paper written oath of office that's in the back of the room. You all who are elected ANC commissioners, particularly those of you who are returning, were re-elected, know that the work of the ANCs is important to the quality of life in our city. And I want to join with my colleagues who have also expressed appreciation and thanks for your service. Your service if you've been re-elected, and your service forthcoming with your new election. You make a difference in our community, and you are as well important to the council, because so often what we hear from you helps us in our work. Again, thank you. Before we adjourn, we will have a benediction. I want to recognize Father Cornelius, who's pastor with St. Luke Roman Catholic Church, for the benediction. If we could have quiet, please.
Let us pray. God of justice and love, we give you thanks for this brand new year and for the many opportunities that you have given all of us gathered here today. As we depart from this place, we ask that you will protect us from all hurt, harm, and danger. God Almighty, I ask that you bless in a special way all of the men and women who have been sworn in today. Give them your grace and your strength. Make them an instrument of your peace in this District of Columbia and in our nation, so that wherever there are injuries, these men and women would bring healing. Where there is doubt in our government, in our city, they will restore faith. Where there is despair in our neighborhood and communities, these men and women will be a ray of hope. Where there is darkness and evil, let them be the shining light of our community. Where there is darkness and pain, may they bring joy to us. God, when these public servants feel like they have reached their limit for caring for the poor, please remind them that it isn't given that they will receive. May they realize that in selflessly serving the people, they too will be served. Give them honesty, give them purity of heart, make them respect everyone and uphold the integrity of all the members and those who live here in the District of Columbia, so that in all we do and in all we say, this District of Columbia will continue to grow from strength to strength. May you, O God, bless us and keep us safe. May your merciful face shine upon us in this new year and be gracious to us. May you look upon us kindly and grant us your peace. May you bless us, bless this District of Columbia, and bless the United States of America. Amen.
Thank you, Father Cornelius, and thank you to all of you who serve, and we are adjourned.